Hello friends, today we'll talk about crop rotations using APSIM model. So I am doing the same thing. I am opening the same file what you saw it for soil organic carbon. Here only we'll see that we have only wheat crop in this case, and we'll have two crops. So think about the rotation in India, or maybe a cropping system approach in India where if I consider the central part of India where we use actually soybean wheat rotation. So what I'll do actually, I'll change this file. um, I keep it as only one, okay, 120 kg nitrogen, and I remove these two files. So before that I'll make it save as, and I'll put it crop rotation India, this file. Then I save it. Then simply I press delete and delete it and delete this one. And I'll keep it. I'll rename it. You know how to rename it. Simply right click it. I'm so sorry. So you write it soybean wheat. So we are going to rename it soybean wheat. But you know that whatever we have for wheat only. Similar way, you bring soybean to it. So made file as usual, absolutely no problem. We click clock the duration of simulation, let it be 10 years. We will go for biomass yield, all those things for both the crops. Summary file, we don't bother about this, doesn't exist at this time because we have to give a new rotation, and we'll run the simulation and we'll find it. So as of now, soil, water, and depth of all those profiles, and soil organic carbon, and surface organic matter, so it is showing wheat. Now you got wheat, and we got all those ini files where you have all those varieties here. So now what we'll do actually, we'll bring, because we are talking about soybean wheat rotation, so we get soybean to it. So go to the standard, go to the crops here, from the toolbox standard, go to the crops and look for soybean. Where you got soybean, it is so alphabetically QRS soybean here. So left click, drag it and drop it in the paddock, isn't it? Because we had, so here it is gone. So if you have not done it, then you do it again. I guess I didn't find it here. Anyway, bring it and drop it here. So you get soybean here, but we want soybean near to it. So press alt and then arrow. It'll go up, and it here. But thing is that you have ini file here, but you don't have an ini file here. So what you do actually, you get the structural and get this ini file. Click it here, drag it and drop it on soybean. Now you'll see the ini file. But what we'll do, it doesn't have anything. You have to browse and go to XML file and see where it is. Go to the program files and look for soybean 7.10 here. I go to models and look for soybean XML file. So you'll find soybean. What it is, so sorghum soybean XML. So click it here, open, and you'll find it here. Search for, so we have variety JS335 already there. So very popular variety in central India, and you'll find if it is there. I don't know whether there is space or not. Let's look at it. Maybe it is somewhere at the end. You have to see, or you can choose any cultivar here. Absolutely no problem for see. JS335 already there. So I should have written small rather than capital, so that when you search it, it will go directly here. So we have JS335 in it. So now you got the ini file and we brought the varietal, varieties here so that you can recall in the management folder. Now you got wheat ini file and soybean because it is soybean rotation. Now you'll see the management folder. What we got here? Fertilize this for wheat. So just rename it fertilize sowing and just type it wheat so that you don't get confused. Then sowing on a fixed date, this is for wheat, so you just write wheat here because we now have two crops here. We'll harvest rule, that is harvesting, just put wheat. And irrigation, definitely wheat is irrigated, so we don't irrigation event, and we have irrigation and fertilize. This is for fixed date, this is for let it be wheat. So for us, so wheat is completed and we have renamed it so that because we have two crops now. So for soybean, what we need, just like so on a fixed date or sowing. So you go to down there, the management folder, go to the management common task, and you'll find sowing. So otherwise, if there is a problem here sowing on fixed date, you can choose soybean and wheat. So you can drag it and drop it there, the manager again, because you got it one wheat one. We don't need wheat, actually it is soybean. So what we do, write soybean here, don't go for there since you have already one for your wheat. Just rename it and change all those things. How it will change? Because when we are going to sow, suppose soybean, we just take it as 25th of June fixed date. We can change variable dates of sowing. We'll talk about that one day. So I'm right June June, and here it will be soybean instead of wheat. And plant density, it is around 45 to 50. Sowing depth remains the same, 50 millimeter or 5 centimeter. Then varieties, because you don't need, we need soybean variety. So look for soybean. So JS335 got here. And what is the spacing? 300 millimeter or 30 centimeter. Look how it is easy. You don't have to select from those. Once you got this one, you just since you put the ini file for soybean, and it will come automatically in this area. So you got for soybean. What you want for soybean again? You remember one thing in the management folder. Once you sow the crop, you have to harvest also. So two things should be there. In between, there will be intercultural operations like fertilizer, irrigation, all other things. So you got sowing. Take from here only. So if it is gone harvesting wheat, so drag and drop it there in the management. You get another harvesting wheat. Just change it. Harvesting instead of wheat, make it soybean. So I made it soybean, and a relative change I have to make. Automatically it will come. Look, soybean comes. So I did it, and so I got soybean and fixed date. I sow it and harvest it. Then is I have to fertilize because soybean is brain fed crop. I don't need to irrigate it, so I don't need irrigate it because in the cropping system or crop rotation pattern in India, one will have in Kharif season, that means in rainy season, another in Rabi season or winter season we call it. So soybean wheat rotation, soybean is a Kharif crop or rainy season crop, and wheat is winter season for India. So for that we got sowing and harvesting, and in between we have to give fertilizer and fixed. This is for wheat. So when you have given fertilizer and fixed date, we don't need this one. It is a top up actually. So fertilizer at sowing we need. So drag and drop it here. You got another one here. So what we do? Fertilizer of sowing, make it soybean. Now you got soybean here, and you have to change. Instead of which module the sowing come from, this is for soybean. You got soybean here. what time fertilizers are sowing, and it is around 30 kg. You don't need more than that because it's leguminous crop and it fixates its own nitrogen through biological nitrogen fixation, and we need some starters dose for initial crop growth. Once it's established, it will fix its own nitrogen and it's applied to the crop. So now remember we got, and one will be your rotation. So I didn't put rotation, you have to bring rotation here. So from the common text you see, if you put rotation also it's fine, if you don't put, but it's better to put rotation. Let's see where it is gone. Management common task. So you got rotation here, bring it and drop it in the folder. In rotation there will be two things you have to remember. One is summer fallow, one is winter fallow. For us actually end of summer fallow I kept it, keep it for October, because we expect that our soybean crop is harvested in October. You can put October because in November 15 you are going to sow the crops, and this is for, I am keeping 15th May because we are sowing in June our next crop. So June will be sorry, May. So we get enough time for initialization of the model. End of winter fallow, that means when you sow the winter season crops in March, end of March, early first week of April maximum, it will be harvested. So I put May, end of our winter fallow. Then end of our summer fallow is 15th October because the soybean will be harvested in September as long as in first week of October. And so what we'll do, so now you got the rotation, the two things you remember. See, you can have first crop soybean and second crop is wheat. So we got two crops now, soybean and wheat. And when the soybean is sown and it's harvested in early first week of October, early or late September, then the summer fallow will be 15th October because 15th November we are sowing wheat crop. Then you save it. Now what you got actually, just like you did it last time. So we have to see what we have the variables here. So when I write biomass only, it is both the crops biomass here. It means in the variable, let the date time as date is fine. And biomass means biomass for soybean, biomass for wheat. Yield means grain yield for soybean and grain yield. And grain protein don't need it at this stage, just delete it. Grain size don't need it, by default it was there. Extractable saltwater don't need it. Biomass nitrogen we don't need it. At this stage only we need only biomass and yield, and you'll find when you run the simulation. So what I feel actually almost we and repeated at harvesting, because we are going for a clock of 10 years, 80 to 90. You don't need the every day, don't read. If you make it day every day, then you'll take a lot of time. You can check by yourself, but I put it harvesting means at the end of harvest you will get the yield. And so reported frequency was, for me it was harvesting, and variables is grain mass, biomass yield and in date. So what we'll do, let's run the simulation. If it is wrong, if there is out, that's mean finding error simulations, soybean, wheat, APSIM, training manual, that's something. So manage crops in the water nodes of the soil. That means here we don't find water node here. It didn't find soybean. Let's see whether soybean is or not or not. Since soybean alphabetically is written there, soybean is P, soybean is not there, so manage crops. So put soybean here, then OK. Then you'll find soybean has come up, must have come up. Let's see where it is. and in this case you have to put all those values so that it will calculate all these factors. So this is a long time, but at this stage I will just you know give you one example how to calculate soybean and all these factors. I'll just put lower limit, let it be, for sake of completing this one. Let's see how it goes. And KL, XF, check XF, is root impeding factor, whether you are allowing the root to go deeper part of the profile. I put 1 here, then 1.0 means I am allowing the root to go full without any obstacles. I put 1 also, that means no impedance factor here. There's no impedance third depth, fourth depth also. Things happening to soybean, even for fifth depth giving. And let it restrict here because fifth depth is already 120 centimeters, so we don't need it. Okay, so now you got KL values, except we put it 0 to 1, KL how much per day. So we can have something, you can put it, let it be default value 0.10, let it be text from cotton, and just for sake of giving you some idea, I'm just putting this value, copying and pasting it here. So that means if it is not completed, then it will not take. So what I did, actually I completed this and save it. So let's run it again. It should work. Actually, if there is another problem, it will come and it will show, because that node was not there. So you have to remember. So it is altogether a different one actually, and everybody, suddenly if you don't find that node in the soil, actually get your simulation run. So now I guess the simulation has been run, and you can see the output file. You'll find all those values, and we'll go to the graph. Actually, we'll see how it is, and in the summary file also, because I told you once you run the simulation, you'll find everything in the summary file. You'll find in details what are those inputs you put here, when you have sown, we have given fertilizer, when you have irrigated the crop, then accordingly for both the crops you'll see everything, your thermal unit, heat unit, and see the leaf area, grain yield, all details will come for both the crops. So now this is altogether the rotation, and we'll go to the graph and see whether we got something here or not. So before that we have to search whether we get these things or not. So if you remember simulation folder, we should have soybean wheat out. So let's see. So we have, I have forgotten actually what is that file name, crop rotation India, and we have small soybean wheat because there was another folder. That's why we'll search here the simulation folder, small soybean wheat out, and open it. Now you got this, and you go to plot now. Here it is showing two dates. You just remove one because previously it was there. Another one, weight, biomass, yield, all those things. It is already there. It will take probably. What will go? Put XY. Click on XY, and I have to check again here. There may be something wrong. Let's remove these things. This and this. Let's get biomass, soybean yield, paddock yield, all those things, and save it and go to XY. So what you need, if you want to see wheat and soybean biomass, you'll get here. Forget about this because it was in harvesting, that's why the value is 0 here. Don't worry about this. The red one is soybean biomass. Every year you can see the interannual variance in soybean yield, and the blue one is biomass yield of wheat. And if you double click biomass, it go to the grain yield. You can see the soybean grain yield and the wheat grain. So friends, and like that, you can have all those parameters, properties, whatever you want to know about the soil in this rotation. And in soybean wheat rotation or soybean cropping system, what you call in India, if you go for cropping system wise for 10 years, 20 years, 100 years, you see how the soybean yield or wheat yield changes with the change in weather pattern. And you can find these things, you can do using this APSIM model, which is the beautiful model in giving you the rotation. And second thing is that in the rotation itself, you can see how soil properties are changing. Suppose for carbon, how in this rotation for 20 years, 30 years, for your long-term data you can use, and you can see that how this can be done. So friends, this is for me today, and hope you understand this. You can email me, and if you want to learn more about this, we'll have various training programs. Though this time we are thinking of making some online, because due to the COVID situation in the country, you may join there also. But nonetheless, this is about crop rotations, and I tried my best to give you the simplest one, because I don't want to make it complicated all the time. I always say, learn very basic things slowly, slowly go on adding each and every component, because by the time I give you maybe 50 or the videos on AppSim on different aspects, it's small things, you'll learn many more things about AppSim, and you can do by yourselves when you go through all the videos. So thank you very much. Thank you for watching me.